Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we made quite a bit of changes, trading away a couple of guys and let going of a couple guys as well. And our roster still looks really good on paper, and also our team is well under the cap at the moment, which is not a great thing because that means obviously we need a little bit of cap help to get ourselves to that floor, which is kind of interesting. But you can see this is currently what we have on our roster. So we did decide to make a couple huge changes to our team. So we traded away Michael Misa back to the Los Angeles Kings. And we got a couple picks back, which is awesome. But our center depth still looks very good with Bickle, Goldman, Ekholm, and Hansen. We also decided to make a couple other changes to our forward group, I believe. I'm trying to think of who else did we flip away. I know that we let go of Dennis Palin on defense. We probably might bring him back just because of the cap problems on this team at the moment. But we also decided to trade away Stanley King, which was a big one. So our goaltending change, backup and starter will be a little bit different. So Bergqvist will be coming the next starting goaltender for this team, which is awesome at the age of 21 only. And we're going to have to find himself a new backup goaltender too. So a couple interesting changes to our team, but in general, we are still very strong because of the fact that Ekholm is going to be jumping to the NHL this season as a full-time regular. He played a little bit in the playoffs last season, didn't do too well, but obviously with some more elevated ice time, he should definitely do well. And then also Esteban Walter is going to be jumping into the lineup as well, and he's a very good shooter, so I'm hoping that he could bring some offense and also kind of like maybe at some point outgrow Eberle and then basically be like maybe a second line guy at some point if we end up letting go of Grocek at some point too. So it's going to be very exciting to see what this team ends up doing this upcoming season, and I'm hoping obviously that we get similar results to what we've gotten in the last few years, because this team has been dynamite, but we had to make a couple change-ups just because of the fact obviously that we had guys in the system that needed to get to the NHL. So anyways, let's get into your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we will get into free agency and starting up the season simulation. So the first comment is from Center Otaku, who says Prosser was a great pick. With him and Timmins, they should be able to develop their defensive awareness to become, at worst, a reliable bottom six forward / penalty kill specialists. And I agree. I think we made some pretty good decisions. Prosser was a 69 overall, I think, top six forward, if I remember right. Yeah, 69 overall, top six forward. So we grabbed him. And yeah, I'm kind of surprised he actually was a top six forward, because when we were looking at him, I was thinking that he's going to be just a high overall top 9 forward. But for him to be at least a top 6 is very nice. And then also we drafted this low elite here in Timmins, who's a very low overall at 19. However, he is also a two-way forward, so maybe he could become a nice bottom 6 kind of player on our team. Even if he becomes something like just Jamal Hurd, who was like a 77, 78, Walter Timmins is still maybe going to be a useful player. So hopefully he develops into be something for that fourth line, because I don't think he's going to be like a third line plus guy. But if he's a fourth liner, hopefully he's a good defensive one. Also, I was asking Tanner Otaku what he thought of the trades and what we should do to help our cap situation. He says, I think you got pretty fair value for everyone, though it was a bit surprising that you couldn't wrangle a first rounder for King. As far as the cap situation goes, I'd hate for you to sign a whale just to keep the roster, because that's a bit too unrealistic for playing outside of the drafted glory scenario, but you may have not a choice. Maybe bring back Palin on a 1-year big money deal. And I think that might be something we look into, is bringing back Palin. Even though I wasn't planning on bringing him back on a 1-year deal to help our cap situation is maybe a good thing for us, because obviously he wants to get paid a lot. There is 2 teams currently interested in him, which are Vegas and Calgary. If we give him a 1-year deal, probably if I wanted to give him a 1-year deal, I could probably just up this to like $15 million. However, Calgary and Vegas might be giving him term, which he actually wants, so he might not actually want to sign with us. But we'll see, obviously, if he does, just to help us out with the cap situation. And if he doesn't accept with us, we might have to kind of look at the worst contracts throughout the entire league and see if there's anybody out there that's making a lot of money that we could just kind of bring in as like kind of like a depth option or something like that, that's making like $5-6 million to play in the AHL or something like that, because that honestly might be the best way to get ourselves to the floor. Because obviously the only thing we really need to sign in free agency this year, other than maybe bringing in Palin, is bringing ourselves in a backup goaltender. And that's not going to really cost us too much unless we decide to give like Mechanics a lot of money. He does want 2.85, which is actually a bit more expensive than I thought, but we probably will bring him in as our backup goaltender. And I could overpay on him a little bit as well, maybe a bit, just to kind of give us a bit more of a cap hit. But obviously, Palin, bringing him back for 1 year is definitely something we're going to be looking into. The only thing is bringing him back. I might have to make some other decisions on the defensive side of things, because at the moment, Baldwin's technically ready to jump into our defensive core. I might have to look at maybe moving out somebody, not like necessarily Scarlett, even though he's a pending UFA. I would probably look to like move out Louis Vara, but he's also making $5 million bucks, which is we need the cap. So I would maybe have to look at potentially, I guess, just getting rid of Baldwin before he even plays a game with us. Yeah, I might have to do that if Palin accepts, just because obviously we can't really utilize Baldwin. And then we'd have 3. We'd have Palin, which is 4, 5, and 6. And then I guess Reese would be our 7th defenseman, which is not really that bad of an idea. Yeah, I think we might have to trade away Baldwin if Palin accepts, just to kind of make sure that we aren't like necessarily scratching Baldwin, because he's not actually, yeah, he's listed as a top 6 defender. So the only thing that sucks is he actually could be a really solid NHLer. He's been a pretty good AHLer for 2 years, and it would be nice to have him in the NHL, but we already have kind of a lot of offensive defensemen with Vandermeer, with Goddard. So I think also getting rid of him because of that makes a bit of sense. So that might be something we have to do in this episode, just to compromise a little bit. And the last and final comment is from Michael Dose, who says Zajac62 at 17 years of age might amount to something in 5 to 6 seasons, and maybe he only has, I think, was top 9 potential, isn't it? Let me see. Zajac, low 6. Oh yeah, maybe. There's a chance he could develop into something. It's really tough to tell with these low 6s, because sometimes you get low 6s that pan out, and other times you get ones that just don't develop at all. Maybe he becomes a really good AHLer, but I don't know if he'll become an NHLer. It depends. But he does have the capability to. He has good shooting categories, obviously, right now for the AHL too. So it'd be interesting to see how much growth he gets within 1 year, if he ends up making it to the NHL at some point as well. So there is that. Let's get into our free agent signings and see what our cap situation is looking like at that point. So obviously the more important thing other than Palin is the backup goaltender, which I am going to bring in Plekanec. He will be the backup to our young guy in Bergqvist. He is the youngest out of the bunch. That's probably why I'm bringing him in. Hasn't been that bad as a backup. Like, he's got a good win-loss ratio in a way, 26, 17, and 4. I don't really like his save percentage and goals against, but honestly, he's probably the best option, because I don't think I want to go for a guy like Seelovs, who's likely going to drop off soon, or Ratzlaff, or Sunacek. Like, a lot of these guys are in their 30-plus range, so I would prefer a younger goalie. And obviously the next closest one that's young is Cesar Bergeron, who has never played an NHL game, which is a bit more of a risk because of the fact he's never played a game. So I think we're going to go for the best one available for us, and that is Plekanec. We'll give him the 1 year deal, and I'm going to overpay on him by a little bit just to kind of help with the cap float a little bit. You guys could say that's cheating in a sense with getting myself to that cap floor, but I want to be nice to this guy, give him some money. Maybe he's earned it, maybe he hasn't, but 1 year at 3.5. And we'll see if he could help ourselves out with the cap situation and become our next backup goaltender. And then defensively, obviously, we're going to offer a 1 year deal to Palin, and probably will up this to $15 million bucks, which might be able to get it done. But also the fact that Calgary and Vegas might give him term, like I said before, they might not want to. He might not want to accept because we're only giving him the 1 year. He might want some term at this point in his career. So 1 year at $15 million bucks. We'll see if he accepts that. If he rejects it, it will kind of suck, but it will make sense that he might sign with a different team. But that's basically what we're going to do to try and get ourselves back into the cap territory a little bit, because at the moment we have $40 million in cap space, which is kind of ridiculous that we have that much cap space with such a good team. Okay, so that is that. I think we're ready to continue simulating. I don't remember if there was... Oh, yeah, I already offered a contract to a German scout, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we want to do beforehand. I think we're good. Let me actually go to Fine Trade for a second. I just want to see what Baldwin will fetch us if we do get Palin back, because Baldwin has still a little bit of value. Let me just see out of curiosity. Looks like I could get some late round picks. That's not bad. Not bad at all. A lot of teams like him too, which is a good thing. So we'll have definitely an easy time moving him. which is probably the play if Palin decides to accept. Even though Baldwin could end up being a good offensive defenseman at the NHL level with his awareness and passing, it just makes a bit of sense for us with our already current OFDs in Vandermeer and Goddard. So anyways, let's advance a few days and see if these guys accept their contracts. Or will Palin decide he wants to go to Calgary or Vegas instead? Or maybe he'll sign with a different team completely. I don't really want to make that trade. I don't know why they're trying to get Cam from me, but I would rather hold on to Cam as a depth option in case. We're getting offered trades for Cam every single day, apparently. There is Dolak, so that is the future German scout, I think, if I remember right. I have to double check. We have enough coaches as well. Plekanec is accepted, so there is our new backup goaltender. So shout out to Plekanec, who is the backup now. Let's take a look at that goaltending situation. It's going to be interesting to see what overall Bergqvist is to start next season. Like, I think he should be like an 83 at least. That's my guess. And moving out Stanley King obviously kind of sucked in a way, but he was terrible last year in the playoffs. So I don't even care that our goaltending looks a little bit worse right now than last year. Hopefully Plekanec could kind of hold his own a little bit. And then maybe Bergqvist will get a nice big contract in the start of next season. Or I could already offer him a contract extension. Ooh, he's trying to get paid already. That's maybe a bit of a risk already offering him a contract. Interesting. I'll probably wait a little bit on that. I know there is a couple guys that need some extensions, though, that we could do already in this episode as well. Those being none other than, I'm trying to remember who it was again. Oh, yeah, it was Irving and Wilson. Both these guys need major extensions. I'm already going to give these guys extensions while I have the time. I need to get these guys signed up, especially Aiden Irving, but also I like Wilson a lot. Wilson's probably one of the most underrated guys on this team. So, let's get these guys both locked up, shall we? Because we have the money. So Aiden Irving, I should be able to get him for... It's looking like maybe $10 million, actually. Let me see. Yeah, $10 million bucks. 8x10, that's a decent deal. He could drop off in that span, but he's Aiden Irving. He's our captain. I don't give a shit, to be honest. And we will also try and get Wilson on a similar 8-year deal. I just like these guys a lot, and I want this core intact for as long as possible. This will be a movable contract probably too, if for some reason these guys decide to like fall completely off the face of the earth. Wilson's going to get a little bit more than Irving, which might be controversial, but a 8-year deal at 10.1, so $100,000 more. I don't mind it. I do not mind it. Okay, so those extensions are in place. Now we'll see if Palin decides to accept and join the team back up again, or will he leave us for Calgary or Vegas? Ah, damn it, man. That really sucks. Palin has decided to go to the Vegas Golden Knights. He was quite clear on how long of a contract he wanted. He didn't like that we only offered him 1 year. That's just what we could have only done. We couldn't have given him multiple years. I mean, we could have maybe, but at the same time, I don't really think it was worth it. He is getting paid $13.005 million. Looks like he got himself a 6-year deal. So he might not even be there for the rest of his career. He might be there only until he's 34, but that's a pretty nice addition to their blue line for the Vegas Golden Knights. Damn, man. That sucks. What do we want to do then in terms of trying to get ourselves to the cap floor? Because I believe we're still below the cap floor, right? Yeah. I don't even know how much money I need. I'm going to have to look for the worst contracts in the league and see if there's anybody as a depth option I could kind of just bury in the minors. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's probably the only thing we could do unless we want our guys' salaries going up a bit. So I could actually sort by contract, which is interesting. If I put this to a minimum of... Oh, actually, wow, that's going up way faster than I expected. If I do a minimum contract of $5 million bucks and a minimum year of 1 and a max year of 1, can I find anybody on an expiring deal that's making a ton of money? That's not really good. Let's see what we got here. Who's getting paid the most in the league? Right now it's Cale Makar, but obviously Cale Makar's not what I need. Is there anybody that's getting completely overpaid? Mo Sider, no thank you. I don't have any use for Mo Sider. Okay, there's the worst that's making a lot of money. Caden Korzak. is making $6 million and he's down to a 73 overall. Oh my god. And he is in LA. I must have to take this on and then just let him play in the AHL. Would that even put us to the cap floor yet? Probably not. Wow. That's one of the worst contracts I've ever seen. 73 making $6 million, but there's also Chinnikov making 7.965. Wow. I could also, yeah, maybe I'll bring in Chinnikov. We did have Chinnikov at one point way back early in the series. Yeah, way back in the beginning. Never won a Stanley Cup with us, but might have won in Toronto. I almost completely forgot we had Chinnikov too. You know what? I'm going to bring in Chinnikov. I know it seems kind of weird because he's got no value whatsoever. But we just need the cap floor cap. It doesn't even get us to the cap floor yet. What the hell am I supposed to do with this, man? I might have to bring Chinnikov in and Korzak to play in the AHL at this rate. Just to get us to the floor. Yeah, I think that's honestly what we're going to have to do for the 1 year. Which is ridiculous. So let's just give up a 7th round selection because that's all I could really give up, I guess. I don't even... Like, that's even too much value. Oh my god. Well, I'm doing the Leafs a big favor by taking on this contract, but I think it's the only thing we could really do, and it's at least... It's a little bit more realistic in a sense. I don't really know, but we're going to do this. So, 7th rounder, enjoy it, Toronto. We're just going to take on that terrible contract. Yep. Oh my goodness. And the other one was Korzak in LA. I am just doing these teams some due diligence. The good thing for the LA Kings, at least, is we did just trade them Michael Misa as well. So we are definitely helping them out quite a bit here by taking on Korzak as well. Where is Korzak here? Here he is. That doesn't even put us at the cap floor yet. Seriously, man. What am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to sign some people free agency-wise too, man. This is ridiculous that we have to actually do this. But it is what it is. We'll give up another 7th round pick because that's legit all I could really do. Unless I have a prospect that's not worth anything. I didn't even think of that. Do they have anybody on their block that are interested and that has no value? Hey, I'll give you this low bottom 6 forward. I don't need him. I'm not going to sign him. You can enjoy this prospect. Thank you. Oh, man. This is such a weird friggin' dilemma. I don't think I've ever had to do something like this before. Okay, so I need only a couple more million probably. Is there a way to check the cap floor here? Probably not. Oh, man. Yeah, I might have to sign like a guy, just a depth option for the AHL and just overpay on him a little bit. At least that's a bit more realistic, only signing one guy to be a bit of a weird contract. All these guys are 1-on-1. They're ELCs. Let's just go through the lowest player. Go for like a 75 or something that's going to just play in the AHL. At least the AHL will get some extra help this year too. I don't mind that. Because then maybe they could push for a playoff spot or for a Calder Cup or something. At least that's a bit more realistic. But the fact that we're just taking on all this dead cap is kind of hilarious. Machasek, does he want only an ELC though? He does not. Okay, so we'll do a one-way deal. Actually, these guys only want 850. Then I'm overpaying a bit on them. Is there anybody listed as like a depth option that I should bring in? Like a depth forward? Depth demon. We don't really need demon for the AHL. Let's go with this Tromboy guy instead because he's a power forward. And I'm going to give him like... I'm going to say $4 million is what I need to get to the cap floor maybe. So I'm just going to give him $4 million to play in the AHL. Yeah, I know it's a little bit dumb and it's not really realistic, but at some point you have to just do that type of thing because I just don't want it to inflate my cap on my other players. So that's what we're going to do here. No, thank you. Not going to make a trade with you, Vegas. This is just all because Palin didn't accept, which is hilarious. Aiden Irving has accepted the 8-year extension. That's fantastic. Trombley is on board, of course. And Wilson has also accepted the 8-year extension. Oh, boy, that's awesome. Now we're not going to have much cap problems, probably because next offseason, especially, we're going to have more expensive players already signed. So That is fantastic that we got those guys signed. I wanted to take a look at the cap space now. We're still a tiny, tiny bit below. My God. Oh my goodness. This is really friggin' annoying. I set this team up so well that I legit have to make some dumb decisions here. Oh, that's actually kind of friggin' ridiculous. I want to just get to the season sim as well. I want to simulate a little bit because I do want to take a look at how good guys like Ekholm do and whatnot. We're like 20-something minutes into this episode, but I had to clear my throat so many times that probably we're not that far into it. Let's go with $2 million for Zach Dean. He might be a depth option in the NHL. Who knows? Maybe he'll not. But our AHL team's getting a little bit more good players in it. So Zach Dean should easily accept that. No, thank you. And there we go. Zach Dean's on board as well. Perfect. Okay, so we should be at the cap floor now. We are still, like, legitimately like a hair underneath it. Friggin'. I wish I could see what the cap floor was in the off season. God damn, man. We need to sign one more guy for the AHL. One more. This is the most ridiculous offseason you're ever going to see. Ridiculous. Let's go with Mikas. 1-year deal. And yeah, just take $14.50. That should get us up there enough. Let me just make sure, though. 1.6. Well, at least we're having more depth, but stuff that I don't really need. God damn, man. Okay, so this should accept soon. There we go. So now we should be, hopefully, at the damn cap floor. Because if we're not, I am going to be kind of mad. Let's see what we got here. Are we not at it? I think that's still below it. I'm honestly not signing any more players at this rate. I don't even give a shit. God damn, man. That is frustrating as hell, though. Making all those weird-ass decisions. I'm going to remove players from my trading block because they're just annoyed with these trade offers right now, but it's been one of those days today. It's just been one of those days. And then all this stuff I have to do in this game is just ridiculous, but oh well. At least we got Aiden Irving and Wilson signed for 8 years more because that is just going to be so nice. Those guys are really important pieces to this team, so do not want any trade offers right now because we're going to go into next season with a very stacked looking team still, and we're going to have a lot of random shit in the AHL that makes a lot of money, but that's okay. It's going to be interesting to see what our team's looking like and what Ekholm could do in his first season because he didn't pick up a single point in his first playoff run. Him and Walter, both of them in their 5-6 games they played, they didn't have a single point. They were a minus almost every single game as well. So expecting a bit more out of them once this season actually starts. So let's get into some roster adjustments and see what we got for our 4 group here. Okay, so anybody that I need to call up. We got Bergfist and Mechanics. Bergfist is an 83 as I was expecting. Waldwin jumped to an 80 overall. Wow, okay. So Mikas as our depth defender is actually okay because we did just technically, we had a different guy as a depth defenseman before. Greer technically could be a depth defenseman too. As a 26-year-old. I kind of like him a little bit better actually than the guy we just signed. So we'll do that adjustment. I don't know why Louis Vardo's a 78. That's kind of annoying. We're probably going to have some guy complain about ice time, I'm guessing. But defense looks good. We got, wow, Bulbrook an 81. And a third-line scoring forward. He's going to be a fourth liner. Oh, my God. So 4, 8, 12. And we have 8 defensemen. We need to send down a defender, actually. So, oh my. Oh, I didn't even realize. Backer jumped to an 82. That's why I was thinking of not bringing in a defenseman. Oh, boy. Okay, well, I guess, we are in a very weird spot right now. I'm going to have to trade away Baldwin still. Because or else Louis Vara can't play. And with Backer jumping up to our top 4. Yeah, so we have Vandermeer, Goddard, Backer, Vernarski in the top 4. We'd have Scarlett, Louis Vara maybe as the top 6. Maybe Louis Vara actually in the top 4 just as ice time gets it better. Yeah, Baldwin's going to have to get traded still. Okay, that's fair. So I'm going to just write down some stuff here. Oh, man, we still have to make so many friggin' things happen. This is ridiculous, man. Baldwin, we need to trade him away. So that's something. I didn't even realize Backer was up to that 82. So we do need to not send down a defenseman, but we need to trade away Baldwin. We need 2 depth forwards called up. So who is the best forwards in the AHL? Herd's list is a 4th liner, so he might complain about ice time. Mishenko is a depth forward. He's already 25. He's going to get called up, and Cam's going to get called up. We'll leave Rafalski in the AHL. Oh, man, Landon's down there too now. What the heck? Oh, yeah, I guess we should have Landon up here because he's getting paid for multiple years instead of Mishenko. And then we'll go for, I guess, Cam. Jesus Christ. Wait, what does that say? Over to player limit. Oh, yeah, wait a second here. I guess for the time being, I'll have Greer in the minors, but I'm going to have to trade away Baldwin first. Let's just go best lines for a second. And let me just go quickly trade away Baldwin so we can get him into the get him out of the lineup and make our actual adjustments we want to. So there was teams interested in Baldwin, which is good. We should be able to easily flip him. Even though his value, I think, just dropped off a bit. Wait, where is he? There he is. Okay. His value is a little the same. I don't want any roster players back. A medium elite goalie, what the heck? Probably not going to pan out, but still. I'll just take back picks for him because I don't want roster players at this point. A 3rd rounder, a 3rd and a 4th. You got it, Columbus. So enjoy Columbus there, Baldwin. There you go. We had to do it. We had to do it. This is such a weird friggin' episode, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the comedy a little bit here because it's kind of weird what I've had to do in this episode here. So Greer can now come up, and then we could call up our forwards that we want to, which... Do we already have our forwards up here? I guess we do, right? Best AHL lines for a second. And let's go back to the NHL and edit our lines, and let me just double check that we actually have everybody I want up here. Wow, this is so weird. Yep, that's good. Okay. Alright, so now we could actually adjust our lines the way we want to. So we want to have our top 6 like this. So Irving, Bickle, Jacuzzi, Groshek, Goldman. No, not Goldman. We go with Ekholm instead here. Ekholm technically could be a first liner in his first season. You know what? We're going to do that for... Actually, no, the chemistry doesn't work that well. We'll go with that instead, yeah. Goldman as a 3rd line center is listed as a 2nd liner. He might not like that, but he'll get power play time, PK time. Should be okay. I'll put... Yeah, Walter could stay on that side because he's a right-handed shot. Bulbrook should not be as a 4th liner, but yeah, honestly, that's the only way he gets slotted into this team. And then I guess I'll keep Alexiev in. Landon will be depth with Cam. Greer as well, okay? From a defensive standpoint, we will run... I do like Backer as a DFD, so we'll get him to the top pairing with Vandermeer. Goddard can play with Vernarski. Scarlett with Louis Vara? Who's better defensively? 87 defensive awareness. 86. Okay, that works. Goalie-wise, Burfist mechanics. Okay, we got that all set out. Now let me just check the power play unit. Bickle, Irving, Jacuzzi, Groshek, Vandermeer. Ekholm, Wilson, Eberle, Bulbrook, and Goddard. We got to change something about this people on the power play here. Eberle is going to come out here. Esteban Walter was not on the power play either. Oh my goodness. So I do kind of want to get Goldman back on the power play again because he actually did well last year. But honestly, he might not get it. Because Walter should be on a power play too with his goal scoring ability. Wow, this is kind of ridiculous, man, that we have to deal with all this shit. What the heck? I might just leave this and just keep it going, you know. Yeah, I'm going to keep the rest of that the same. Let me double check the AHL quickly, make sure we have guys in the right spots here. No scratch players. Wow, okay. But let's get our top younger guys up in the lineup over these older guys that we just signed. Kavusari definitely needs to be high up in the lineup. Horkin, low bottom 6, doesn't matter. Blunden is a low elite. Definitely needs to be higher in the lineup. Probably even higher than Mishenko because of the age. Defensively, let me see. Yeah, we don't even have any depth players. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, so that's what we're going to run with for the season. I know it was a little bit of a clusterfuck of an episode so far, but it is what it is. We probably won't simulate too much just because of all the stuff it's taken us to do. Like, getting this roster set up has taken a lot more work than I expected. I'm going to decline an edit trading block because I do not want any friggin' trade offers. Because we aren't making trades. Our team is too weird right now. And I do not feel like making a single trade again. At least right now. Oh, man. That was quite the off-season. Quite the off-season. Like, the last 2 episodes, like this episode and the one before this, so many off-season moves that it's actually kind of insane how our team still looks so good on paper. And we also now have a lot more random depth, but they're all making a ton of money just to keep us on that floor a little bit. Okay. That is good. Now we could actually start to simulate. Let's get through the preseason, and then we'll probably simulate to maybe December the 1st. Maybe we could go to January the 1st. We'll see. But this team should be good. No question about it. No question about it. A little bit of a rough preseason here, but that's okay because preseasons don't matter too much. We go 3-3-1. Who led us in points? Out of curiosity, Bickle. Nice to see Bickle doing well considering Michael Misa's not on the team anymore. This is a little bit weird that Michael Misa obviously is not on the team anymore because he was with us for like the last 7-8 seasons. So, but now he's back in Los Angeles. So it'll be interesting to see how Los Angeles and all the teams we dealt with do this season because obviously we have 3 first-round picks this year. That's a big thing, is obviously if we're going to hold on to all those picks. Because we have, who's first-rounders this year again? We have our own Columbus's and LA's, okay. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on Columbus and LA also in this episode while we simulate a little bit. Hopefully they get off to very bad starts and we get ourselves some very good picks with those players, those trades that we made. Okay, let's go to the end of the first month, see how we do. Should be pretty automatic that we're going to win games. Should be. But then again, who knows with this game. Your backer's already been injured. Damn, that sucks. Okay, let's just go replace player. But he's early into his career and he already suffers an injury. 9-1 loss to Chicago. How the heck did we just lose 9-1? That's our first loss of the season. And it's a drastically bad one. Damn. That's kind of insane. So backer back in. Ha, that's funny. And last game of the month is another win. 7-1 in our first 8 games, even with all those adjustments. There is players losing morale because of ice time, which is not ideal. Vandermeer's leading the team in points with 13 assists in 8 games, no goals. That's not really what I had on my mind when I was going to think of who was leading us in points after 8 games. God damn. I did want to take a look at the morale here quickly because I do want to make sure people are getting happy. Who's trending downwards? Or who has the lowest morale? Landon right now. Louis Vara's a little bit... Actually, they're going upwards, which is good. Okay, yeah, morale seems to be okay. It seems to be okay. I don't know who's complaining about their ice time, but hopefully they just decide to suck it up because this is a good team and maybe another team that could win a Stanley Cup in. Even with all those weird adjustments. Let's go another month and see if we're still killing it at that point. Another game against Pittsburgh, 8-2 loss. It's kind of ridiculous that our 2 losses have been both games that we got destroyed in. And of course we lose a couple more games after I said that. A little bit of a weird start to the season for sure. We are definitely losing a lot more games this month, but it is a little bit of a more weird looking team. 11-7-1 now. So that means we went from literally being 7-1 to 4-6-1 in our last 11 games. That's not great. Not great at all for this caliber of this team. Vandermeer still leading this team in points. What the friggin' is happening? Will Vandermeer is not the type of guy to lead a team in points. 1 goal only, but 24 assists. Damn, our power play might be killing it or something. Is he up for renewal this offseason? I don't think so, right? Gotta double check on that. He's not. Okay. Because if he was up for renewal, we might be having to pay him some big bucks. Like, drastically big bucks. But let's actually go halfway through the season, I think, at this point. Or we'll go to, like, a little bit after January 1st. We're managing to assimilate through this a little bit quicker anyways, so our team should be able to figure it out this month. It was just a bit of a lackluster month of November, but we'll see if we struggle here. That's a really weird start to the month too. Okay. Yeah, this is a very inconsistent team right now, and I don't really know why, but at the same time, that might be good for us in terms of playoff simulations. So, Jordan Goddard has been injured. Not great. Let's go replace player on that front. And we are going to be 22-11-1. That's much better. Much better month. We are second place in the Central Division. The Blackhawks are the only team above us. And, of course, they did beat us this season at one point. So we played 34 games, which means 7 more games would be halfway point. You know what? We're going to go to the halfway point. 5 games there, 7 games there. Wow, I have a back-to-back with Nashville. That's kind of neat. Let's go to the 13th, and then we'll be exactly halfway done the season. That's not good. Ekholm's been injured. That's not good. Considering he could be up there for a Calder this season, considering he's getting a lot of ice time. But we're still winning games without him, which is kind of insane. I am very excited to see what the players' stats are looking like at the halfway point. Like, if Vandermeer's still leading us in points at that point in time, I'm going to be very surprised. Because he's definitely not the type of guy I had leading us in points this season. Let's see. Nashville, there's a win. Ekholm is back for this game, which is good. Which means coming out is Cam. Hopefully Cam did well in the top 6. Because he's been a decently good AHLer. So good to see him getting some playing time a little bit. And a shootout loss there. So 28-11-2 halfway through the season. That's pretty solid. And we are leading the Central Division now. So that is definitely good with me. Let's take a look at what has been going good for this team. Caden Wilson leading the team in points now at 54 points in 41 games. He's on pace for 108 points this year. That's why I gave him that extension. He's been a very, very good player in the series. But let's take a look at how good our team has been doing so far. We are currently the 3rd best team in the NHL. The Anaheim Ducks are number 1. They might be the favorite to win the Stanley Cup this season other than us. We are currently the 2nd best offensive team. Anaheim is number 1. Goals against per game wise, we are currently, despite having some bad defensive games, we are currently the 8th best in the league. Not bad. Actually tied for 7th. So hopefully we continue to get better defensively as the season goes on. Power play percentage wise, our power play is 3rd in the league as well. Pretty good. And our penalty kill, our penalty kill is one of the worst in the league. Okay. That's a bit surprising. And we're a better road team than home team. We're 9-0-1 in our last 10 games. So we're trending in the right direction, which is great. Let's see what players are doing at this point in the season. So currently at center, Ekholm's having a great rookie season. He could definitely easily win the Calder here. 44 points in 35 games. He's missed 6 games, but he has been very good so far. Plus 23. Bickle on 35 points has been good. Goldman only on 16 points. Then again, he's only playing penalty kill in regular strength. He's not liking his ice time. How do I get him more ice time? I want you guys' feedback on that, because I don't really know if I could get him more power play time. I might have to double shift him on the penalty kill or something. Akeem Hansen, 13 points, pretty solid. 6 points in 6 games for Dennis Cam. So that second line when Ekholm was not in the lineup was still doing well, which is good. So that's really good from Cam. Left wing wise, Groshek on 45 points, 18 goals. Esteban Walters even up there for potential Rookie of the Year candidate with 19 goals and 30 points. I knew those guys were going to be effective when they came into the lineup. Eberle on 24 points and Alexiev on 18 is pretty good for a 4th liner. Right wing wise, Caden Wilson on 54 points plus 24. He is having a great year. And an Aiden Irving on 28 goals and 43 points. Not super well over point per game, but 28 goals is fantastic. Chikwueze only on 6 goals and 32 points. He is definitely under-simulating a little bit. Kind of weird that he only has the 6 goals. That contract is looking a little bit steep, but yeah, I don't know why his goal scoring has fallen off a little bit. It's kind of weird. I don't know why. But Bolbrook has 18 points as well as a rookie. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Defensively, Vandermeer on 42 points in 41 games. Vandermeer should easily be able to get himself maybe a Norris this season unless Cale Makar is going off, which honestly could be the case. But he's a plus 29 as well. Goddard on 16 points, minus 10. Goddard has been definitely the worst player defensively. That's kind of weird. Louis Var on 12 points. Bernarski on 9. Scarlett on 5 points. Backer on 5 points. And Greer on 1 assist. Goalie-wise, Bergqvist as a starter hasn't been good. He's got the 3 shutouts, but he hasn't been the best in his rookie season as a starter. Actually, he was, I guess, rookie last year, but Mechanics as a backup, though, has been fantastic. 2 shutouts in 8 games. He's 4-0 with a 919 and a 2.25. It's kind of weird. All right. So the NHL has been interesting so far. I'm curious on the entire league-wise. Koivisto's leading currently. Wilson is up there league-wide in points, but he's not going to be the leading point guy at the moment. Aiden Irving's currently top 5 in scoring behind Austin Matthews, who's in Vegas now as well. That's interesting. Wow, both of the Koivistos are up there. That's interesting. Yanni and Pekka. Yeah, they could be technically brothers, I guess. 6 years apart. Best defenseman so far this season. Vandermeer is the best defender in points right now. He is beating out Cale Makar currently for a potential Norris, but Zellweger being a plus 35 might have the Norris right now just because of that. Best goalie right now so far, Francois Leblanc in Columbus. Most shutouts, Yakubov and Logan Scarlett. Oh man, Logan Scarlett's having a great year. Yeah, Logan Scarlett might be a Vezina candidate. Him, and there's also Tommy Ladd in Anaheim. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Those 2 guys are definitely duking it out. And best rookie so far this season is Ludwig Ekholm right now with 44 points. Walter is number 3. That's awesome. Bolbrook is also top 10. Okay. So there's that. I don't really know if I want to even take a look at the trading block, because at this point I think this roster should just let it cook in a sense. But let's actually let me take a look at the standings here briefly. Columbus and LA, we have their picks, their first rounders. How are they doing this season? The Kings are 2nd place in the Pacific. Well, that's not great. That's not great. Michael Misa's fighting in the playoffs potentially. And then the Blue Jackets are also 2nd place. Well, those first rounders might not mean anything, unfortunately. That's not great. Let's take a look at the trading block, and also I'll take a look at the draft class briefly too, just for fun. But yeah, this has been a weird episode. Anaheim has some decent players on the block like DeVries and Curry. Both of them are goalies, though, which is not really what we need. We don't even really... I don't even feel like I want to make a trade just because of the fact that we have so much weird cap problems and cap anchors that I think we might just have to run with this team the rest of the season as well, which isn't really necessarily a bad thing because we do have the experience factor over a lot of teams other than Anaheim and whatnot, who's also been very good in the series, and same with Buffalo. Bowen Byram making a lot of money, but 2 years. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to probably make any trades next episode, but if I do, it'd probably have to be somebody that's making a decent chunk of money, just so that way we actually stay afloat with the cap situation. Edmonton, Coronado, making 7.16, but I don't have any use for an 85. I just don't. I have to figure out, though, how to get Goldman more ice time. That's another thing for next episode, though, definitely to look into. Arthur Kaliev making 11.45, but for 3 years. Goddamn. Some of these contracts definitely didn't work out that well for some of these teams. Nashville has nothing on the block. The New Jersey Devils, just prospects. The Islanders, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Desiro, 81 overall. And then there's also Periskak. Periskak? I was almost going to say Parsec because of that thing that 2 uses to play NHL 2K. But Couturier, Thompson, Luno, F. Ling. Hey, it's Fling. Francisco Ling. Okay, that's what his name is. But F. Ling, it just looks funny. What else we got here? Simon Nemechek or Simone Nemechek. I think it's Simon, though. Casey Middlestat, Fraser Minton. Yeah, honestly, there's not really anything I would probably bring in via trade. I'd probably just rather let this team play the way they play. Even if they have bad penalty kill right now, might as well just keep it the same, you know. Because it'll probably figure itself out once we get to the playoffs. Nash on the block, another goalie. Logan Stankoven on the block. Don't want to bring him back, even though he was great when he was with us. And that's it. What is this year's draft class looking like? Is it going to be a good draft class at least? Like, is it worth holding on to our first round picks for? It's probably a normal draft, to be honest. Adam Bolt, Melvin Ling. Yeah, this might be just a normal draft class. The good thing is at least having 3 first rounders is we could try and move up if we really want to, but it might not be a great draft class also because there's maybe some medium 9s in the first round. Is there any good low elite potential guys or medium elites for later rounds? There's a medium elite DFD. We're definitely pinning Callie Gustafson. Maybe a medium elite center. Maybe Callie Holmquist. Any low elites? Give me some low elites. Hey, there's one. Bryson Waters. Definitely a guy I would take. We don't have a 7th round pick though this year. So I'd have to take him earlier. Biggers could also potentially be a low elite. So any gems in this draft other than Waters, who's probably going to be a low elite for sure. Medium starter gem, Caden Sutter. Wow, really good stats apparently in the United States right now. That's interesting, I guess. And then there's also Reginald McDermott is a medium 6, who's actually listed as a gem. Alright, I'll pin him too. Alright. Final few things. Let me just make sure, check on the morale system again. Because I know Goldman was losing morale a little bit, but is there anybody else? Landon and Bergfist. Bergfist is probably just because of his playing recently. Yeah, it's individual performance mostly. And then Daniel Lannon, it's ice time. Damn, man. Okay. And then here's the leaders on our team. Ekholm, Alexiev, Backer, and Eberle. Kind of cool that Ekholm's a leader. Maybe a future captain at some point. You never know. I want to take a look at the AHL as well here. Any super high overall guys yet? Jamal Hurd should probably be in the NHL, to be honest. Same with Reason, maybe Rafalski, maybe Reese. And a lot of the other stuff we signed. Wow, that medium elite goalie we have in the AHL went from a 73 to a 77 already. He could easily be our backup next year. Easily. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll probably simulate the rest of the season. I honestly don't think I'm going to make any trades, but if you guys saw anything that we could do it for trade-wise, any players on our team we could get rid of to get in somebody that's maybe making more money that could help us out right now, let me know, and maybe I'll make the trade. But honestly, I just think this team probably run with it just based on the fact that they've won so many Stanley Cups already, and we kind of have the same core intact still, but it definitely looks a lot different than it did when we did win our Stanley Cups. So let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.